first question. Let's say that I have $1 million idea. I have a great idea that I think it's going to be very successful, that it's going to make it around the world. But here's my problem. I have no knowledge about how to set up a company. I don't know how to create a business structure. What's my first step?
The most important thing is to validate whether your idea is a good one. And the only way to do that is to get out and get your idea in front of the people who might be your customers or users. You want to get it out of your head and get it into the real world as quickly as possible. And the thing that I've been seeing be very successful these days is doing that not by building an app or starting a company or hiring people. You do that by thinking about, what am I really curious about here? And usually the thing you're curious about can be tested without building an app, without raising money. You can usually do it yourself by doing nothing more than grabbing people on the street, showing them what you want to build and saying, would you use this? Or something similarly simple.
I would say to anybody that at least 50%, maybe even 90% of a great idea is design. And so if you don't have the skills to develop something, spend all your time in Photoshop or Illustrator or pen and paper or Crayola and design the heck out of this and get to the point where you can't go any further with design and you need to see it come to life. That's when you'll have the tools to recruit people with talent. And they'll see that work and they'll understand how much effort and time you put into it. You'll be able to answer all of their questions. And I'd say that's a very big portion of success is designing up front.
I would say to a lot of young entrepreneurs, and now listen, is like, get ready to not get funded. And because I think that's the biggest misconception. When I am as an entrepreneur, I want people to put money and take the risk. Right. But when I invest, it's quite ironical, because the only thing I don't want is risk. You want given successes because you want your money back. And as an entrepreneur, no one will give you money. The only reason they're giving you money is that because they believe they're going to get more in return.
Right. No one is going to give you anything for free.
No.
Obviously.
So that's basically, and if you're an entrepreneur, see the money as a loan. Because in the end, you need to repay everyone. Right. That's the idea you need to have in the conceptual perspective.
Well, that's a good question. One of the things I talked about on our program earlier was the three, I'd say, vectors of success in a startup community. Mm-hmm. One of those is certainly risk-tolerant investors. Right. The second being developer talent or technical talent, and the third being a community of support. And so those risk-tolerant investors, you have to basically recruit them. You can grow them out of different sectors. I've talked to investment bankers, for example, that want to take a different tack. I've talked to people of independent wealth who are just curious about technology. They have a passion for it. And so you can find them. You have to essentially educate them about what the risks are, where they're coming in, at what stage, and really bring them into your team. But that's the kernel of wisdom I want to offer, is when you recruit an investor, you're recruiting a team member. You're not just taking their money. You're taking everything that goes along with it. Their attitude, their connections, their experience. And so, in a sense, they're really your first early team member. Yeah. And you really got to treat them with that amount of respect.
Would you recommend finding a mentor for your company? Someone who's already been there and who can guide you through the way?
I think that's a really good idea, to get a good mentor. And I think that's also maybe the best way of getting venture capital, getting someone along the ride that can say, I'm willing to support the company. Maybe I'll put in a little money, but I'm willing to support it and open up contacts and doing things.
And you just knock on their door and be like, hey, this is my product, give them a little elevator pitch, like 30 seconds.
Yeah, because according to me, it's much easier to knock on someone's door, and if a young entrepreneur comes to me and says, could you be my mentor? This is what I'm willing to give. I'm building this company. I'm not asking for your money, not right now, but I want your advice. I would say this is a cool guy. Cool. And then in the second stage, when I can see we get to know each other, I say, okay, maybe I can give you some money. But it's much easier for someone to mentor someone than just opening your checkbook and signing off some money.
Where do you see Latin America is going?
There's something incredibly vibrant about the communities here. and I saw it last night in the eyes of the students, that went from kind of glassy-eyed wonder to sharp focus when they heard an important idea. And I've seen it in country after country. I've been to Venezuela, I've been to Costa Rica, I've been to Santo Domingo in Dominican Republic, I've been to, just came from Cali, Colombia, and Brazil, and everywhere I go in Latin America, I notice that there's an incredible local community of support that is waiting for the kind of inspiration that Jonas and Mark and I are bringing tonight, which is simply to say that they can do it.
I think, you will have the biggest startup conferences here.
Why is that?
Because I think there's a huge market opportunity. I think we have seen a very concentration to the US with very tech startups. They build a lot of SaaS products, but the cost of starting a tech company today is so much less because there's so much products that you can just have and use and plug and play. So I think there's going to be a lot of innovation that is customer centric.
Now, where do you see, talking about startups, where do you see Latin America in 5 years?
I would be astounded if there hasn't been an explosion in innovation and new startup activity here. I just feel from the brief time that I've spent here, I can see what's happening with the students and the attitude there.
What is that?
This is enthusiasm for taking risks, for trying something, for building something, for emulating Mark Zuckerberg's and saying that becomes a hero. That's a very, very telling thing. To say that before, no one knew what an entrepreneur was, and now people want to be one.